Welcome to my review of the Pokemon Strongest Mega Evolution Act 4 Special. I don't usually do stuff like this, but I was going to start up a Pokemon X, Y, and Z anime review, and this one aired with the first episode of Pokemon X, Y, and Z. It was like a 1 hour long special, so you have to watch this one in order to understand, because it links the Mega Evolution Acts and the Pokemon X and Y anime, and it's just called Pokemon X, Y, and Z. And I just think it's really awesome. I've been keeping up with the anime and everything, and I've been trying to do stuff like this, or I've been wanting to do something like this for a really long time. Also, a heads up, I'm going to be using the Japanese names for Alain and Mairin because I like them more than the English names. Hope you guys don't mind. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll switch it up for the Pokemon X, Y, and Z anime reviews. Anyway, let's get started. So the special starts off with Mairin and Steven talking to Sycamore, and Sycamore is concerned when Steven tells him that he's been hanging out with Mairin. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe they told him about the stuff that happened in Act 3, which was pretty messed up. And then we cut to Alain, who's on the stadium, and Lysandre's looking down at him. And pretty much, they go to a flashback, and in this flashback, Lysandre gives him an ultimatum, like, if you want to be the strongest, then prove it to me. You got to defeat 10 trainers, and you can't lose a single time. And it was like, do you really want to be the strongest? If you do, then you will be able to do this. And Alain, Alain isn't going to turn that down because of his pride, and as well, like, he feels like he's going to be the strongest. So he's not going to turn that down. And he didn't act scared at all. And he just took it. And then the craziest thing happens. Malva of the Elite Four appears right next to Lysandre, just walks up to wherever he's looking at Alain from. And we know very little about this, but Malva was once affiliated with Team Flare in some way, but we don't really know how. Remember, Malva is an Elite Four member, so she's part of the Pokemon League, which is an official Pokemon thing, and she's hanging out with Lysandre right here. So it's really, really sketchy and really, really weird. I also forgot to mention that the trainers that he's facing are Mega Evolution users. So he's gonna face one of their Mega Evolutions, and he has to defeat 10 of them, with Malva being the last final boss, but he doesn't know that yet. Only Malva knows that. That's why she's up there with Lysandre looking down at Alain. Almost as soon as the battle starts, his Charizard gets poisoned, and at this point I'm like, no! Oh my god, how are you gonna go through all of that? Because I wasn't sure if he was like able to heal or anything, but like he just gets poisoned, and I'm just like, oh my god, great. Then Lysandre walks out and meets up with Steven and Mairin outside. Well, I guess in his lobby thing, in his lab. And I think Lysandre knows what's going on here because he sends Mairin off. And Lysandre's not stupid. Lysandre knows that Mairin cares deeply about Alain. So he distracts her by being like, oh, Alain is over there fighting in the stadium. And, he knew that she was going to just walk away. So as soon as she did, he was like, hey, Steven, is this about the Megalith? And Steven's like, yeah. I mean, I would obviously be concerned as well. Like, the stuff like Lysandre grabbed the Megalith. He just like picked it up during Act 3. He grabbed it, he picked it up, and it was just really weird, right? I mean, apparently it's for peaceful purposes, but obviously it's not. It just looked really weird. Lysandre just brought his whole team, took the Megalith, and just left. Didn't tell anything to Steven. Steven like had no say in that at all. When we cut back to the battle, things are looking a little grim for Alain because the guy is like getting really cocky and being like, hey man, that fire is not going to work on me. I got that thick fat now. And then he just uses Dragon Claw and ends his life. Then at this point, we realize that he can actually heal his Pokemon. So I guess it's not too bad, but I mean, 10 trainers in a row, you gotta think like, this is not the game. The Pokemon has stamina in the anime, like he's gonna get tired. Then we cut back to Steven and Lysandre, and Lysandre's pretty much showing him where he's storing the Megalith, like he's keeping it contained and everything. And Steven still looks pretty worried about everything, like he's just thinking about what happened in Hoenn, because you can kind of see what he's thinking about in front of the Megalith. It's actually not in front of the Megalith, that's just his thoughts, like just portrayed, I guess, in front of him. And he's just thinking about what went down during Act 3, and he looks really, really concerned. And like I said, I would be concerned too, because it doesn't smell right. After that, it pretty much fast forwards through the battles. Like, he takes down a whole bunch of different Mega Evolutions, and then Mairin leaves because he wants to, or she's, I guess, walking down to meet up with Alain, and Alain's healing his Charizard, and then they talk. Obviously, Alain already told her that he doesn't want to, like, continue traveling with her anymore because, I mean, he's trying to be really tough about it. He's like, I can't become the strongest with you around and stuff, but in reality, he just doesn't want her to get hurt. But it hurts Mairin the way that he he says it. He says it in a really like, you know, I don't care way. And she just runs away crying. Obviously, she's really hurt. But Malva really likes this. She really likes the sight of this, I guess because she sees that the boy's determined. But still, I don't know. That just rubs me the wrong way because there's a relationship going on there. You know, they're really good friends. They care about each other. And Malva's just smiling like, I'm really glad that he did that. Like, that's really good. He's loyal. And he just, like, hurt his friend to stay loyal to Lysandre. I'm going to smile about it. And this is a really heartbreaking scene because Mairin is just crying her out, like, really crying her eyes out. But she doesn't start, like, really crying until Chespin leaves. And I don't know why Chespin just walked away like that. It was kind of weird because she was upset, I guess. I guess Chespin wanted to leave her alone. But, like, she completely broke down. It was, like, one of the worst things that I've seen in the anime. Like, somebody breaking down like that. I have not seen that like that in a really long time, if ever. Now, this is the most important scene of the entire act, where Chespin goes and sees the scientist. So now we're looking at what Lysandre is doing behind the scenes, because up until this point, you know, Lysandre isn't really, like, he's trying to stay cautious. He's not, like, full on, like, yeah, I'm not doing this for the right purposes, or, like, you know, confronting everybody about it. He's just kind of like, oh, hi, Professor, hi, Champion Steven, like, you know, like, being really respectful up until this point, not, like, I guess, going against them. He's just trying to go with the flow. But right now, something is wrong, because we see the scientists, and they're not just researching, they're hurting these things. They're, like, exposing them to some type of energy to get some reaction. And you can see that the cells are trying to go and attach to the core. I think they're trying to force that, I think they're trying to force the cells to combine with the core or something like that, but it looks really painful, and Chespin can see that. But before Chespin can do anything, the reaction causes an explosion, which sends Chespin flying back, and then he's just covered in this glow. Like, he got affected by the explosion. For some reason, the scientists didn't. It was only Chespin that got affected by this. It must be because it's a Pokemon. I don't really know. But Chespin didn't really care. He just grabbed the Zygarde core and helped it escape. The Zygarde cells, I don't know if they combined. Well, I don't think they combined. I think that he just picked up the core and left the cells there. And yeah, I don't know why he didn't save the other ones. I mean, he's really hurt, so he probably tried, and then, you know, he collapsed after helping out the core. So that's probably why he didn't help the others. I was really scared at this point, though, because I'm like, these scientists are up to no good. What are they going to do to Chespin now? Like, what's going to happen? You know, and Mairin is breaking down. Like, this is not good right now. So now we cut back to Alain, and he's done with the 9th battle. Malva comes out, and it's a surprise to Alain, because Alain didn't know. And he's like, well, you're worthy of my final match. So then he gets right to battle, and he tries to use a fire type move, but it doesn't work because of flash fire. But then he starts using it after Houndoom Mega Evolves, and they get into this really fierce fight. I mean, it's Mega Charizard X versus Houndoom, and they're both fire types, but in the Pokemon anime, even if you're going against, like, even if it's a fire type against a fire type, it's a pretty intense match, especially since this is an Elite Four member. And Alain references that Malva is an Elite Four member, so that's also true in this anime. And I think that in this anime, a lot of things are connected with the games. Like, a lot of things are true. I mean, even though we haven't seen Alain in the main games yet, I don't know if that's ever going to be a thing, but definitely a lot of events are true to the games. And now we cut back to Mairin. She sees Chespin being rolled away, picks him up, and it's just like, oh my god, it's terrible, because you just realize that she was on the stairs crying her eyes out because her other partner didn't want to be with her, and then now she sees that her other partner's hurt. And the scientists are about to grab Chespin, and then they see Champion Steven, so they back off. Now back to the battle. Alain isn't having it anymore because he's just like, no, this ends now. And he just yells at his Charizard to use Blast Burn. It was the craziest thing ever. And Mega Houndoom just reverts back after falling on the ground, and he wins. And Malva's really shocked by this, really impressed, and pretty much looking at Lysandre like, oh, I know why you chose this guy now. But soon after that, one of Lysandre's guys comes up to him, tells him something, and I think that Alain heard that because he just looks so shocked, like, what's going on? You know, like that face where he's just like, oh my god, no. Now, cutting back to Chespin and Mairin, you just see Chespin, like, linked up with all this medical stuff, and, like, it's not looking good. And then Nurse Joy comes out and tells Mairin that Chespin is in a comatose state. So, you know, it's not sure that he will wake up, which is like, oh my god, it's a really like crazy moment about this scene. And if this comes out in English, they might change that up, I don't know, but in the Japanese version, they said that he was in a coma. And obviously Mairin is just crying her eyes out because her other partner doesn't want to be with her, and the partner that does, or you know, her other partner, is like in a coma. So she's lost everything. That's it. That's all she has. And the really messed up thing is that she goes up to Lysandre and cries on his, like, not knowing that Lysandre is the cause of all this, and it's just kind of like, oh my god, what do you, oh my, it's just so hard to watch. And then Lysandre tells her that everything's gonna be okay, even though he doesn't know that. He's just trying to like be the bigger guy in front of the professor and the champion. And I think this angers Alain. Either that or he's just at fault. Well, I mean, it's probably both, that he feels really bad because he knows, or like, I guess he feels guilty because Mairin followed him again and something really terrible happened because of him. But that's what he thinks. I mean, obviously Mairin wants to be there and that's her choice. But Alain is like, oh my god, this happened because of me again. I hurt Mairin again. But obviously Alain knows something because he gets really angry. It looks like he's even possessed. Like, that's how angry he gets when he's walking out of there after he sees all of that. And then you see him walking down and just looking back at what happened. Apparently Lysandre told him that the only way to bring Chespin back is to get the Mega Evolution energy system going. So he wants to accomplish that in order to get Chespin back. I don't know if that's just to like get Alain to help him out even more, or if that's actually true that the Mega Evolution energy system will bring Chespin back. But then he encounters this trainer, which is completely, I guess, just, I don't know, it's just completely random that he met like a puppeteer type of guy in the middle of nowhere. Then we see Lysandre and Malva talking, and Malva's just like, you're a bad, bad man, like, but I mean, not in a way that she like completely disagrees with it. She's just like having fun with it. She's like laughing about it, like, you know, you're a bad guy, like, I can't believe you did that. And Lysandre's like, I have told no lies. And she's like, I know why you like that boy. And she walks out, and Lysandre just smiles. At this point, we're finally getting to see a darker side of Lysandre, because before this, in the previous acts, you know, it was kind of like, who is this guy? Is this Lysandre? Is this a different, like, are they trying to, like, make him different, or, like, what's going on? You know what I mean? But what's really funny is that we just saw a darker side of Lysandre, and now we're going to see a softer side of Alain, because while he's about to battle the puppeteer guy, he's thinking in his head, like, I'm going to become the strongest and I'm going to get Chespin to wake up again because Mairin, I want to see your smile again. And he says it like twice, and that's like his resolve right now. Like, that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to accomplish. He doesn't, at this point, I don't even think he wants to become the strongest. I think he just wants to see her smile again. And that really shows how much he cares about Mairin. And then the outro is pretty much Lysandre saying, like, there's people who pray, there's people who investigate, and there's people who change the world, which is apparently him. And then he says that in the near future, the bond between humanity and Pokemon will be put to the test. And this is not the first time he said that. He's been saying that for a while now, which kind of like has me thinking, like, what could that be? What could, like, is that something you did? Or is that something that you know is going to happen? So yeah, that was my review on the Strongest Mega Evolution Act 4. Let me know what you guys thought of it. And also let me know if you're excited for the Pokemon XYZ anime review. Drop a comment down below, make sure to click like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.